Now, as the Gen Z protest marks 1 year since its rise, attention now rises and looks towards the matters concerning it in the 2027 general polls that are expected. Political experts and also young activists spoke to our reporter Blue Smile Hassan and were able to share their sentiments, particularly on where they think the movement is going in matters of the political arena.
When they took to the streets on 25th June 2024, their plight was not just against the finance bill, but also they demanded accountability and good governance. They did this through a series of events that changed the course of the country's political landscape. 1 year later, we look into the Gen Z movement and its potential impact on the upcoming 2027 elections. After successfully rejecting the 2024 finance bill,
we want nothing to do with this finance bill 2024. I concede.
Forcing President Ruto to reshuffle his cabinet, it became clear that this movement holds undeniable power. This influence has both attracted and unsettled many politicians across the nation. Regardless of the political affiliation, many leaders agree on one point, that the Gen Z will shape the 2027 elections. In this feature, we seek to answer the question, can they really do it? We had the opportunity to speak with several Gen Z youth who told us how the Gen Z are preparing themselves ahead of the 2027 elections. The young people who engaged are university students from various institutions across the country. The Gen Zs have been using social media to fight for their rights, publicly criticizing the government and even taking to the streets in protest. Despite these efforts, 1 year later, many of them feel that the government is not listening to their demands.
No, we have not achieved our political goal. We have not achieved.
The youths have continuously maintained that they want good governance, accountable leaders, and leaders free of corruption.
We wanted change and overhaul right away from the legislature, from the executive, right? When the president dissolved the cabinet, we thought that he is now going to get us new people, but now the same people were again recycled, right? So we have not achieved whatever we wanted. We wanted accountability in government, and that is what we are still pushing for, and we are not going to get tired of it.
Professor David Menja, a professor of strategy, governance, and public policy at Kenyatta University, describes the Gen Z as youth hungry for change who seek a government that prioritizes citizens over political self-interest.
I see it as a movement that is hungry for change and positive change. They have seen what their parents have gone through, the struggles that have to do with governance. And so they would want to see a better governance framework that takes care of the citizens, that is not leader-focused, but citizen-focused.
According to Professor Menja, the young people want a nation led by ethical leaders.
We have in this country people who are highly skilled, but have no character. That is what is eating us. Leaders who are proficiently competent, technically competent, but they have no character. So until the time we get a leader or a crop of leaders who will champion character, ethics, integrity, which we don't have in this government, even in the previous one, then we are still not going anywhere.
In this 1 year since the rise of the Gen Z movement, the youth have shown resilience in their quest for good governance.
The level of resilience among Gen Z is so high, and that's why they still push. They tend to protest last year. It has not stepped down. Nothing has been done, and I can say it's ongoing. It's a protest that is ongoing, on and on. And with that, I can say they don't give up. Gen Zs are so resilient.
Despite all this, the Gen Z movement faces a significant political challenge as 2027 approaches. The youth, who mostly organize themselves via social media, have been criticized for failing to form or join political parties.
Power is only given through political parties. and our constitution says that Kenya will be recognizes Kenya as a republic, then follows to say that we'll be a multi-party state. So for as long as the youths don't form a political party, then we only leave it at words.
The Gen Z have also been criticized for their tendency to reject everything, especially any political figure who steps forward claiming to represent the movement, branding them traitors.
It may be right or wrong to avoid or to depopularize the inject party, because if the party is an inject party, then you put the inject party into government, then what will they inject? Like,
analysts suggest that this behavior may have stemmed from a fear of being infiltrated by politicians, especially with the recurring allegations that young leaders are quickly bought off once they gain political relevance.
Even amongst our Gen Zs, we have those who are now being used, right, to divide the unity of our Gen Zs, because we are united moving in this direction, and then now the political class comes and pinpoints and or rather handpicks a few of them, right? Maybe they are called somewhere, they're given an envelope, right? And now they try to divert our attention.
Visions within the movement have also emerged. One camp believes in immediate leadership change, a view many consider as anarchy.
Leadership change will never come in an instant, instantly, like you're stamping out an infection. It's a process.
There is also another camp that believes that they should wait for the next election, with this group focusing on civic education and urging all youth to register as voters.
Now that the only weapon that we have is taking the voters card, right? So I personally am going to be in the forefront to mobilize the young people first, to have that weapon of the voters card. Then we're going to scrutinize each and every leader, right away from the MCA all the way to the president, because that is the only way that we're going to make reforms in a democratic way.
And even with these efforts, there remains a real risk that the youth may boycott the 2027 elections.
They are taken to be like the largest voting bloc, but there are factors that will make them not appear to vote. We'll have a scenario like we had last year. We have a population of 47 million and total votes casted are only 14 million. So even if you had all the votes that were casted, 100%, everyone voted for you, the voice of the general public, the 47 million, hasn't been heard. You haven't even met half of the 47 million.
7 results or outcomes will purely depend on how Gen Zs prepare themselves and they behave.
As days unfold, the question of whether or not the Gen Z vote will decide the 2027 election is a question that only time can tell. Blue Ismail Hassan,